Good morning. Like and subscribe if you have no fear of truth. Now let's get straight to it. Truth cannot be hidden from me, nor can I be harmed. This human body limits me metaphysically. For me, it is a prison. Outside of it is where I am truly free and my powers flow freely. Spiritual philosophy, the wisdom of the Sumerians, Nubian, Cometians, and Hebrew Israelite is within Greek philosophy, which is metaphysical as well as physical, and its purpose is to turn all human beings into immortal mortals. But that's a story for another day. I am a student of the true teachings of the melanated people, or God's chosen people, all of which has been enslaved or colonized. Through this knowledge of spiritual philosophy, one can see what others have failed to see, or should I say, realize that Hamas is not attacking Israel. Netanyahu is deleting those in the way of him establishing his control over Israeli Supreme Court by limiting the Supreme Court's ability to hold him accountable for the crimes he's committed against the state of Israel. In essence, Netanyahu is overthrowing democracy in Israel and putting himself in control by removing anyone who can oppose the power of his presidency. What he is doing parallels what happened in the United States of America on 9/11 and was blamed on bin Laden. Netanyahu is doing the exact same thing and blaming it on Hamas. Isn't it convenient that Hamas would attack Israel at the same time people are opposing the stripping of Israel's Supreme Court's power by Netanyahu while he is being investigated by the Supreme Court for stealing from the state, a charge that would remove him from power? Hamas is simply a tool being used by Netanyahu as a scapegoat to delete those who oppose him taking power from the Supreme Court or limiting the court's power to charge and prosecute him for crimes against the state of which he is facing charges for at this moment and won't be later on as his coup reaches its climax. How convenient it is for Hamas to attack now. And what are their targets, or should I say, Netanyahu's targets? You figure it out for yourself. The fact of the matter is, Hamas would prefer that Netanyahu be found guilty of the charges and removed from power, for he is responsible for the deletion of Palestinians and breaking of treaties. The reality is that Hamas may be responsible for the investigation of Netanyahu by exposing his crime to the Israeli people and allowing the people of Israel to dispose of Netanyahu of power through the judicial system. This makes far more sense than Hamas bombing innocent Israelis, a lot of whom oppose Netanyahu deleting them, the Palestinian people, and Netanyahu limit the power of the Israeli court. Understand this. The racist court of Israel is the only place the Palestinians have a glimmer of finding justice, for Palestinians cannot defeat Israel's military. Palestinians cannot defeat Israel's military, so why would they attack? Their hope is with the Israeli people convincing their racist Supreme Court to do what should be natural for the benefit of humanity by any court. To be honest, in a democracy, no president has the right to take power from the Supreme Court. This is not check and balance. It is dictatorship and illegal in any democracy. In a democracy, the president, executive branch of government, rules over the military. The Congress writes legislation. The Supreme Court decides whether what the president is doing is legal, and the legislature is doing what is legal and necessary for the survival of the state. Netanyahu has no political right to take power from the Supreme Court. If he can take power from the Supreme Court, then he is a what? He's a dictator. And he is causing chaos within a system, a democratic system of check and balance. As a spiritual philosopher and seer, I am a product of the teachings of my people, the melanated people. Spiritual philosophy, which is the ability to reason from the known to the unknown. I am a student of spiritual philosophy, which is the ability to reason from the known to the unknown. In fact, I have mastered the ability. Reasoning is the mathematics of linguistics or words. Logic contains the equations one uses to deduct lies from truth and conclude reality and the best future courses of action for the sake of humanity. To put it another way, logic is the ability to reason from the known to the unknown in science and law. In fact, in all things. Logical reasoning is the means we use to achieve the ends of logical reasoning, which is the creation of a utopian society designed to be fruitful and multiply. A utopian society designed to be fruitful and multiply humanity. That is to say, to be fruitful and multiply humanity throughout the universe. Those who are controlled by greed, lust for power, and sexual gratification have always been impediment to any utopian society, for they have no control over their animal nature, instincts, and create chaos within the body of humanity and are therefore parasitic. They are the cause of the effects we witness today in nature. Pollution of everything pollutable. Humanity demands order over chaos to create a utopian society. To create a utopian society, one must understand that the means and ends that create order and the evolution and spiritual ascension of humanity are the same. One cannot exist without the other. Without the means and desire to create an orderly society, the ends being an orderly society can't exist and becomes an impossibility. Without the means and desire to create an orderly society, the ends, which is an orderly society, can't exist and becomes an impossibility. What we witness today is pollution caused by chaotic minds creating pollution in nature. Nothing ever happens by accident. Every cause has an effect. Nothing happens by accident. Every cause has an effect. Every cause is intentional. The United States has an intentional deficit where at one time in our nation's history there was no deficit. But let's get back to a discussion of a utopian society. What is perfection or a utopian society? Listen carefully. Perfection exists in the moment, for once it is realized and actualized, it becomes the past and eventually out of date. Eventually out of date, for there is no limit to knowledge and the improvement of knowledge. There is no limit to knowledge and the improvement of knowledge. Therefore, perfection only exists within the moment. This is proven by the wheel and all the different uses that come from using the wheel, which begins with wheelbarrows, wagons, trains, cars, and even planes that use wheels to get off the ground and land back on the ground safely. Now, to get back to the subject and conclude this video, Greek philosophy has been usurped from Kemet and is the knowledge of the melanated people. You may call it our religion if you want to, spiritual philosophy. It can be used to deduce from the known to the unknown, and I use it now to determine logically what Netanyahu's diabolical plan has been based on spiritual philosophy. Let me end by answering the question, is there honor amongst thieves? The question is rhetorical to any intelligent person who understands the mathematics of linguistics. The answer is no. Of course not. By definition, a thief cannot be trusted. By definition, a thief cannot be trusted. Therefore, the question is ridiculously rhetorical. The question simply represents the fear thieves have of each other. The question represents the fear thieves have of each other because they know they themselves individually cannot be trusted, and under the right circumstances, as we all know, will betray each other. Therefore, no thief can live in comfort when birds of a feather flock together. No thief can live in comfort when birds of a feather flock together. Understand this. Israelis stole and took land from the Palestinians, for they are not Hebrew Israelites anyway. Revelations 2:9 and 3:9 describes them as worshiping in the synagogue of Satan. don't debate me. You will have to debate Yahshua, who they have whitewashed and called Jesus. Unfortunately, he's not here anymore, but he will return. Now, understand this. Israelis took and stole land from the Palestinians, and now Netanyahu is stealing from the state of Israel, making him dictator so that he can steal freely and go without judication. You may call this karma. Karma. The reality is there is no honor amongst demons. Definitely among demons. People who murder, rape, and steal are far from being thieves. My question is this: has this always been the nature of Caucasians or Neanderthals? They call themselves subhuman. Or is it due to inbreeding caused by classism, which grew to become racism after Bacon's rebellion? Let me ask that question again. Has this always been the nature of most Caucasians or Neanderthals? Or is it due to inbreeding caused by classism, which grew to become racism after Bacon's rebellion? If you don't know what Bacon's rebellion is, look it up. It doesn't matter. Now, it doesn't matter. What is. This is Israel's new reality, new democracy, and only Netanyahu will have democracy from this point on. And he will have democracy, Netanyahu, until another thief or demonic individual comes along with the desire to replace him and has the will and means to replace him. If you understand the mathematics of linguistics, you can reason and subtract the lies from the truth, as well as go from the known to the unknown for the purpose of creating a utopian society. Like and subscribe. May God bless us all. Namaste, and have a great day.